finally move into the Book of Boba Fett. Reportedly had a 36% higher viewership than the Mandalorian. Wow, the Mandalorian
Wow.
season 2 closer.
Jeez.
By the way, shot, absolute shot.
No. I'll be
Um,
right back.
okay, I'm gonna introduce this topic first off. So basically, this is Samba TV. They ran the numbers from Wednesday to Sunday. It's 36% higher. So there's a couple things to unpack here, right? The Mandalorian released on a Friday, their season finale. So it had Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday were its weekend or weekday days. So uh, Book of Boba Fett was Wednesday and Thursday later in the week. I don't know if that factors in. But also, when you account for subscribers, obviously there were more subscribers on the platform for Book of Boba Fett. It still outperformed the Mandalorian season 2. It was actually the best finale, I think. Uh, and they say at the end here, the momentum and excitement for the first season of the Book of Boba Fett carried over to the finale. Uh, it was they did a good job of keeping viewers engaged. They said with the show, and that's surprising because the hardcore fan, such as Alex and I, we watched the whole entire show, but we definitely had a fair amount of criticisms. Alex, I want to ask you first, what do you think of this? Do you think this is
Dude.
because of the Mandalorian? And then secondly, do you think this definitely means we get a season 2 now?
Well, I'll answer that last question. Yes, I think we're gonna get a season 2. But I also think yes, this is almost certainly because of Luke and the Mandalorian and their inclusion in this show. I'm sorry, but this show after episode 4 just decided that Boba wasn't cool enough to be the main character of the show anymore. And so people definitely were not in tune for the Boba Fett aspect. And also, we got to take into account the Cad Bane cameo at the end of the previous episode. So I think the
Well,
problem is
yeah.
that this episode was so highly viewed because people thought, oh, Luke was going to be in it, Cad Bane was going to be in it, the Mandalorian was going to be in it, Ahsoka was going to be in it, Thrawn was going to be in it, Batman was going to be in it, Iron Man was going to be in it, I was going to be in it. It's like the expectations, bro, were massive. Were massive.
Um, yeah, the expectations were definitely massive for this show. Um, but my thing with it is like Alex from Star Wars Explained said this, but maybe Boba is just better as a side character, and it really got me thinking. And I'm like, yeah, I think he is. I don't think he can carry
Yeah,
his own show as a character. I think he arced out. I think he arced out after 4 episodes. You kind of set
I
up his
agree.
backstory, and then he's like the daimyo, and now he needs to take over and protect Mos Espa. Where does a Boba Fett season 2 go? I mean, I would love to see him carry this to the criminal underworld and have more criminal underworld aspects. I'd love to see a Coruscant. I'd love to see a Nar Shaddaa. I'd love to see a Nal Hutta. But besides that, what else do you like from a character perspective, Alex? How does he grow? Like, I guess you could still have him struggle, right? Because he does kill Cad Bane. He's still a cold blooded killer. Um, but like, how do you like juggle him, like, not being able to kill people, but at the same time wanting to keep the aspect that he is Boba Fett and he should still snap at some point?
Yeah.
Um, it's just a very weird thing to me. Like, I love that the viewership is up, and it tells me that people are invested in the Filoni verse, invested in this Mandalorian universe, and that they really like they really like the character of Mando and even Boba. I think. So there are some factors there, but I think I've joggled back and forth. I think it does get a season 2, but do I really want it, Alex? Do I really want it? Because I don't
Yeah.
know.
I think here's my problem is um my thing is like I said this when the show I think in our finale episode is why couldn't this have just been the Mandalorian season 3 opening? Make it a long season and have this be how we get introduced into Din. Now yes, Would it have made sense entirely for the Mandalorian to be introduced into the 5th episode of his show? No. But it also didn't make sense for Boba Fett to become a side character in his show.
For 2 episodes.
Yeah. I would even argue the finale.
Well, he did
He
have
had his
moments,
moments.
but it did focus on Din quite a bit, and Grogu, like a little bit,
Yeah.
for sure.
So I would say like definitely like don't think this show needs a season 2. And I think if you're gonna give it a season 2, you might as well just put that in either the season 4 of The Mandalorian or season 3. Because my thing is like I don't think that this show needed to be made. It's kind of like how I feel about Solo. I didn't need that to be made. I was happy that it was made.
You like it, but it's like,
Yeah.
what was the purpose of this? Like, I get that because the Boba Fett I don't love. I
Yeah.
talk about this in my review of the whole season on TikTok. Like, when I look at the Boba episodes, those 5 episodes, they're around like an 8 for me combined when I combine them all up. I mean, I like them, but like, how does it? So my thing is like, I love the Mandalorian season 1. It got me back into Star Wars, but I know why that was made. There was also an endpoint that's set up more with the dark saber. Like, we got Din's character established, like he was protecting this kid, and then there was a new objective. What is Boba's new objective now? He's just like, I don't know if I'm cut out for this. And Fennec's like, yeah, well, someone's got to do it. So they still got to be the daimyo, but like, I feel like Favreau and Filoni still don't know where they want to take this character themselves.
Yeah.
It feels very weird to me, Alex. Like, I feel like
Yeah, and
sometimes they don't know what they want to do with the character themselves.
yeah, and I'll say that too. Like that whole thing at the end really bugged me. That was like, oh, I don't think we're cut out to do this. Okay, so then first of all, why'd you do it in the first place? We're
Right.
never told why he does it.
No.
Um, but then you're just gonna really build it up that like, oh, I don't know why we did this, but we did.
I mean, I think they do tell, like, Boba talks about in episode 4, the flashback. I'm sick and tired of people like us die into idiots. Um, so I feel like that's the reason he did it, but it's poorly done. I guess you could make that argument. I
well,
think it does get.
to
Yeah, go
me,
ahead.
my thing is like, okay, if you want to make that the argument that, oh, he doesn't want to be working for people who, who unnecessarily almost get him killed, that's fine. But like, why isn't that more explicitly shown in more episodes? Because he doesn't really talk about it much. He doesn't
And
talk about why he
yeah,
wants to do what he does.
as it is, there's not a lot of stuff with Boba in the present day Mandoverse. Like, most of his episodes are flashbacks.
Yeah.
Which I love the flashback stuff. Don't get me wrong; it's probably one of the better aspects of the show. But like,
Mm.
it doesn't progress the Mandoverse forward. It's kind of like, oh, here's Boba. This is Boba. What I thought they were going to do is they were, leading towards Thrawn. I thought they were going to have, because we're going to need a lot of factions to fight against Thrawn. I really thought they
Mm.
were going to go the route. And again, this is my expectation. So, like, maybe it did affect the show a little bit for me because it didn't live up to what I thought. But I don't think it really affected it that much or really at all. But I really think or hope that they go the route that Boba becomes the leader of the criminal underworld
Mm.
and he uses his faction to help against Thrawn. That's how
Yeah.
it really should be. Because, like,
'Cause-
what is Boba gonna do now? He has
yeah.
eight people to fight against Thrawn when that eventually comes.
Yeah. My thing was the reason why I think this deserved to be in the Mandalorian season 3 is because you could start it off with what we have now, okay, and cool, and then what you could have is you could then end this episode, the finale, or what would have been the finale of the show. You could easily been like, hey, in time, I would appreciate your help to reclaim Mandalore with
Right.
the Mandalorians. We could really use someone like you out there to help us. Bam, right there. easy setup to bring him in. But from where I'm at now, he doesn't know what he wants. He doesn't know why he's daimyo. Apart from I don't want people to keep hiring me for jobs that I'm gonna die at, even though it's always technically my fault that I'm still going for these jobs. Um, so it's just like, to me, a smoother transition would have been, oh, I'm gonna scratch your back and you're gonna scratch my back, and now we're gonna go help each other reclaim Mandalore,
Right.
and then just
Right.
like that. And I think that's what's gonna happen. I think that's still gonna happen, where he's gonna be like, "Hey, I helped you out, and I would appreciate some help now towards reclaiming Mandalore."
Yeah, I still think the best iteration of the character we've gotten is Mandalorian season 2
Yeah,
because it's enough of him as a side character, but it's not too. I just feel like that he's works best as a side character. Maybe he wasn't worth a show. I feel terrible saying that because I love Tamora Morrison and I love Fennec Shan, but what did you do with her?
yeah.
What did you do with her? What was her
She
character?
was she was just kind of there.
She was the same thing, an assassin. Yeah, she's
Yeah.
great at him. We've seen it. Maybe do something. Maybe with the season 2 you could explore that. Hopefully, but like it's like,
Maybe.
why didn't you do that stuff in season 1? It's almost like I don't know. It was a weird show, and it's kind of a little bit upsetting to me. It doesn't make me worried about the Filoni verse because I mean, Book of Boba is by the same people who did Mandalorian season 2,
Mhm.
and season 1. So I mean, we'll see. I mean, the viewership numbers do tell me it will get a season 2.
Yeah.
Uh, but hopefully a lot more Boba and a better villain, maybe, because the Pikes were kind of boring. They brought in Cat
Yeah.
Bane that I liked. Maybe a better villain.
I will say, like,
I'd like the Huts. Like the Huts would be
may
much cooler.
maybe this sounds bad, but like I felt kind of baited with the villains of the show. I felt like it was
What were the
definitely
point of the
feeling,
Huts?
yeah,
Like, what was the point of them?
it felt like they were setting up Crimson Dawn to come in, and then they weren't setting up Crimson Dawn all of a sudden. It kind of just felt like, okay, well, there's actually someone bigger than uh, the Pikes. And then it
Right.
turned out, no, no, there wasn't. It was just the Pikes. I feel like that post credit scene wasn't good either. Like, that could have set up a good season two.
Yeah, the post-credit scene tells us something we could have theorized. Which, by the way,
Yeah.
it could be set up the fact that Cobb Vanth is now the leader of Rangers, but that's more speculation than it is
No,
directly
I
said.
think honestly, I think they're going to
Make him the daimyo
they're gonna make him the daimyo,
and just have
which is,
Boba go out
yeah.
with Din. That would be
I
nice.
it's I love saying that word so much now. I just love saying
Daimyo.
daimyo, just
Daimyo.
because it was clear that when they were writing the show, they were like, yeah, maybe we should give him this thing where it's like, or give Boba this character where I'm going to, become the daimyo of our people. But they're like, oh, but we want to make him a crime lord. But then they're like, but he doesn't do anything crime lordy.
He doesn't do
Well, fuck
crime.
it then. He's what is that word you called him? Domino? No, a daimyo. Yep, that's his new nickname, the daimyo. Okay then.
um yeah.
Boba
Well,
Fett, the domino of Tatooine.